An RCMP arrest that assaults common sense. Let's have a look at this article from the Globe and Mail. And to put this in perspective, we need to understand what the leader of Canada thinks of the media organization that he is talking about. Just to put this in context, so we will have a listen to Justin Trudeau talk about what he thinks, and then we'll get into a deep dive of this article. So let's have a listen.
The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines, around how we're going to actually get through this pandemic and be there for each other and keep our kids safe, is part of why we're seeing such unfortunate anger and lack of understanding of basic science. And quite frankly, I won't call it a media organization, your group of individuals need to take accountability for some of the polarization that we're seeing in this country. And I think Canadians are cluing into the fact that there is a really important decision we take about the kind of country we want to see. And I salute all extraordinary, hardworking journalists that put science and facts at the heart of what they do and ask me tough questions every day, but make sure that they are educating and informing Canadians from a broad range of perspectives, which is the last thing that you guys do.
There you go. He hates them. Let's be clear on that. And it's just a media organization in Canada. Out of all the things in the world, meeting big, much bigger players, I don't know why he's so upset over this one media organization, which is so weird that he does that. But a lot of this starts from rotting from the head down. Let's look at this. And you know that the fish rots from the head down? That's the head is the top guy. So he hates them. And that trickles down to everyone underneath him. And that's what puts us in perspective that he hates them. And it's such a, like I said, of all the issues in the world, of all the people that he has to meet, I don't know why he's so upset about it, because he's extremely good at avoiding questions in the first place. And even Freeland, for that matter. They're all amazing at this. But let's get into the article. In this article, I have to do it in a certain way. So let me just do this. A man approaches Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland quickly, thrusts a microphone towards her, and bursts out two questions about the IRGC as they walk a few paces. Then he and another man run into each other. Wow, that is dramatic. Where's the applause on that? Let's have a look at the actual video of what they're describing.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group?
That whole part took 4 seconds for him to walk up to her. Nobody around, no cops, no RCMP, nobody. So she's just walking like in a mall, and the rebel reporter's walking up to her. Let's look at the second question now.
Why is your government supporting Islamo-nationalism?
That whole thing took 4 seconds to do. Now, did he thrust himself into the spotlight? Well, I guess as she's walking in, he wants to ask a question before she just takes off and leaves. And a few paces really means about 3 feet or 1 meter. Yeah, it was very close. That's because she's trying to go into the building. And did you notice the assistant already knows that trouble or something is about to happen? And if you wanted to know what's it called, a personality media or a representative like that, it's already starting. The play is starting right now. It's already starting because she's running across. She knows something is up. I don't know why the newspaper guy doesn't talk about that. Let's continue with the article. And that is the moment when the publicity stunt masquerading as a journalist turned into a debacle for the RCMP. The first man is David Menzies of Rebel News, the right-wing website. The second is still unidentified plainclothes RCMP officer. Wow, that sounds so dramatic. If Freeland doesn't want to answer a question. Why doesn't she just go through her little playbook of what she does all the time? Let's have a listen of what she, if she does not want to answer a question, and this was after the event, what she should do. And Trudeau's amazing at this as well. But let's listen to Freeland. You know, the $8 billion consultant fee? This is where it comes in handy. Let's have a listen.
First question, I was wondering, what do you make of your security detail arresting David Menzies?
So I want to start with what was important about Monday.
Well, there you go. That's it. Exactly what you want to do. Talk whatever you want. If you don't want to answer the question, use it as a liberal infomercial. Use these moments to just pound it in people's head, just like the queen of environmentalism. What's her name? McKenna. Catherine McKenna. Just do what she does. Pound it, repeat it often, and they will buy it. That's what you do. I don't understand. Why don't you just go through your little playbook and look at the things to do if you don't want to answer a question, because they're quite amazing at it. Trudeau is great at it as well and very unoriginal. And yeah, he'll just keep doing the same thing. Let's continue. And the next part of it. One needn't be a fan of rebel media. We aren't. Well, yeah, it's an opinion piece. Or think that Mr. Menzies' activities constitute journalism. We don't. To be concerned about the incident, we are asking Miss Freeland a legitimate question about the IRGC. She didn't exhibit any great enthusiasm for this question. We decline to answer. There's nothing in this video to encourage and indicate that she posed any threat to her. His tone was rude, but rudeness is not an offense under the criminal code. Yeah. And let's start off. The journalism, we don't. I didn't know this, but you need to be an accredited journalism. So that means even if you graduated in journalism like Menzies did, it's not a journalism. Not if you're interviewing the government. You can be a journalist over it if a cat goes up a tree, but if you talk about the government, you're not a journalist. Here's what I would like. Political accreditation to the government. Justin Trudeau needs to have a degree in finance. Not in political science, in finance. You need to know how money works, because you can't just have a famous last name and just get in everywhere. And, he's had great charm. He went to private school. He was taught how to debate. Very good. But he's just a bungee jump coach, assistant, like someone that encourages you to do a bungee jump. That's all he did. And okay, ski instructor, I don't know, theatrical, whatever. But he never really he could have got the best education in Canada, if not the world. He didn't do it. He just wanted to do whatever. And then that school, that private school, they only hired him because of his last name, because he would bring students in. It's not because, they needed a genius to come in and run a class or something like that. They didn't need that. So I would like to see that accreditation going on. And yeah, the Chrystia Freeland legitimate question. Yeah, all of that's fine. And the tone of being rude. Yeah, whatever with being rude. It doesn't matter about being rude or not. A lot of it is that questions get asked of the Liberal government. They don't answer. They just go off on whatever they want to say, ignore you, and then you're like, what was the question in the first place? And I don't know. And I'll criticize Pierre Poilievre on this. But you're like, what was the question in the first place? I'm so confused. It just keeps going on and on forever. So let's continue.
Excuse me. What are you doing? You're under arrest for obscuring. Why are you putting me? You're under arrest.
So that took 7 seconds to arrest him, to acknowledge that was an assault and do it. And they what's it called? Unhaired man. He was very his actions were very not scripted, but it was all like muscle memory. It was like boom, do it. That's what it almost seemed like. He like premeditated. That's what it almost looks like. And this is part of the fish rotting from the head down. This is really where it comes from, because he knows this is a guy. I think David Menzies has a hip replacement. Like the guy, and he knows him. Like, and he let him walk towards her. If he's that amazing of RCMP officer, why didn't he run over there and then block it? Like, why don't you do that then if you think it's that much of a threat, really? The unhaired man, how he makes eye contact to the second lower, like not the federal police, but down provincial or municipal, he makes eye contact with him, just saying, now you take over. If you notice that in slow motion when I put that on. So it looks like it was all sort of, it was super fast, really. And it just went from like 0 to 100 kilometers an hour so fast, like the muscle memory, like you got to do it. This is it. Boom, 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 done, and then hand it over. And even the unhaired man was standing there quite calmly after letting the other guy with the hair take over, and then eventually down to the police and whatever Richmond Hill police to eventually do it. That's why it goes down to so many layers of police, and it's really scary that the RCMP think out of all the threats that are for protecting politicians, that they looked at this reporter and this was the most priority threat in the world, and they knew how to act so fast. It's incredible. That's what's really scary about it, that this bothered them. That Freeland could have avoided it too, and even the assistant could have said, hey, look at that guy, he's in the black coat, don't bump into him. They all knew this. They all knew it. And that's what's really scary, that they let it happen. And they could have had compassion. You know how the liberals say, let's fall compassion for each other and everything. Well, lead by example. Because, well, I don't know, lead by example. They don't do it. It would have been a prime opportunity. Who cares? They would have walked in the building and what? The whole event would have taken place in, 30 seconds? That's how fast. Like under 1 minute, all this happened. So,
And I salute all extraordinary, hardworking journalists that put science and facts at the heart of what they do and ask me tough questions every day.
and on the example of tough questions, and I know I'm picking the most lamest ones, Tom Clark was alone with him on a plane. I didn't even know he did this, like a TV show with like Jerry Seinfeld, the comedians in cars. He actually puts people in planes. And here is one with Justin Trudeau where he's going to talk about something, about some shampoo. You can ask, you know what? You're in a plane. You don't even know how to fly it. You can ask any question you want. Here, this is the example. 404, page not found. The internet has been scrubbed of that video where Tom Clark asks him what his favorite shampoo is. And this reminds me too of Karina Gold and how she wanted to scrub the internet when that Yahtzee came in and she wanted to have it erased. That's what happened. The internet has been erased of that interview where Tom Clark asked him what his favorite shampoo was. And there's been other examples too of the internet being erased with for example, Rosemary Barton. There was an example where she was walking with Trudeau. The snow was falling. It was very red light. It was very looked really for couples. And she asked him what his favorite book was, and he goes, "I don't read books." That has been erased as well. So a lot of stuff, they have control over what information you can see, and it almost drives you nuts because you're like, I could have sworn they said that, and it just gets taken down. So there you go. If you want to know what information is being controlled, and it'd be nice to get an access to information requests, an example of what has been deleted or removed from the internet. Jagmeet Singh, too, on his coalition, he did say a few times, I know I've mentioned it once, that he will never have a coalition. He said it a few times. I remember the guy in the back doing it. It's been erased as well. So, anyway, I hope you liked the video and like and subscribe. And I just wanted to go through the Globe and Mail article on what theatrical that is going through. And I'm not even sure if ChatGPT is going to take over that job one day. Anyway, thanks, like and subscribe. Talk to you later. At best of goodbyes.